So in this video, we are going to review the dimensional analysis from Unit 1, because that will be on the third exam. And then Task 24 builds on the dimensional analysis. So you want to make sure you know how to do this before looking at the videos for Task 24. So the first thing is just going back. This was in the Unit 1 packet. We have the metric system. And so for the metric system, we talked about how everything is changed by a factor of 10. And if we relate it to the base unit, meters, liters, or grams, like there's 1,000 meters in a kiloliter, there's 100 meters in a hectoliter, there's 10 meters in a deciliter. And then deci, centi, and milli are smaller. So it's like there's 1/10, 1/100th, and 1/1000th. Okay, and so what that means is there's 1 meter is going to be equal to 10 decimeters, and 1 meter is going to equal 100 centimeters, and 1 millimeter or 1 meter is going to equal 1,000 millimeters. And then this is 1,000 meters is equal to 1 kilometer, 100 meters is equal to 1 hectometer, and 10 meters is equal to 1 decameter. Okay, so these are all larger than a meter, and these are all smaller. Okay. So if we look at kind of a problem dealing with this, it says a pencil has a mass of about 25 grams. This is equivalent to what in terms of milligrams? So we're using our base unit grams, which is here, and we're starting there, and we want to get to milligrams, which is here. And so what we did is we look at it and we count how many times we move our decimal place over. So for this, if we're going from grams, let's look at the problem again. So we started at 25 grams. If I'm going from grams to milligrams, I'm moving my decimal 1, 2, and then 3 places to the right for it. So if we do this here, we have 25, the decimal goes after it if there's no decimal point, and we write 1, 2, 3, and we put zeros in there. And always rewrite it to make it easier to read. So that means there's 25,000 micrograms in 25 grams. Okay, so that's how we use that chart from Unit 1. We also did ones when we were talking about US measurements, and then it's not as easy. We can't use that chart. Instead, we have to multiply by that proportion. So they said 1 mile is equal to 5,280 feet. How many feet is in 12 miles? Okay, so we start with what we're trying to convert, 12 miles, and then we multiply by this ratio. We need the miles to cancel, so that means the miles needs to go on the bottom, and then the 5,280 feet would go on top. This is over 1, the miles cancel, and then we multiply. So we get 12 times 5,280. Which gives me 63,360. That would be over 1 if you want to write it feet. And so that's just 63,360 feet. So that's how we do it in the US measurements. So this one is similar to one on the homework. It says, given that 1 yard is equivalent to 3 feet, how many square yards of carpet are needed to cover the floor of a rectangular room that measures 22 by 28 feet? Okay, so I want it in yards. We're going to look at, when we do dimensional analysis for area, a different way to do this, but I'll just do this as if we don't know that yet, and we're going to convert these two here. So I'm going to convert both of these to yards, and then I'll find the area of the room. So if I do 22 feet to yards, I would multiply by 1 yard over 3 feet. So the feet cancel. And then if I multiply that, that gives me 22 yards over 3. Right, and that gives us like 7.3333. So I'm just gonna leave it as 22/3 for now. Okay, so then I would do the same thing for 28. So 28 feet, I'm gonna change to yards by doing 1 yard over 3 feet. Okay, multiply that. This is over 1, so I get 28. The feet cancel. I'm left with yards over 3. Okay, again, if you divide that, you are going to get a decimal. So I'm just going to leave that as a fraction. And then if I wanted to find the area of the room of room is length times width. Right? And so this is the length, this is the width. So I would do 22/3 times 28/3. Okay, and yes, you can make them decimals. If you do, then just make sure that you're doing a decent amount of decimal places. So this was 22/3, and then I'd multiply that by 28/3, and I get 68.444. If you need it as a fraction, you could change it, which is 616/9. Okay, and just follow how many decimal places they say on the homework. So that's just kind of a quick review of the dimensional analysis because we'll be using that for task 24.